Good morning, YouTubers and BMW GS fans. Got a new to me 2024 gsa1250. I bought about 3 weeks ago. I've got about 3,600 miles on it. Bought it with 2,100 miles on it, and just kind of thought I would do my own opinions and thoughts and a couple things about it that I didn't really hear on some videos when I was looking, that I thought maybe I could point out to some people and maybe have some little better insight on some stuff. I am about 165 pounds. I'm about 5'9", 5'8 and a half. I got a 30-inch inseam. So for me, this bike is definitely on the tall side, and I think for a lot of people that buy these, they're pretty tall. In my opinion, it's the height, and in a lot of cases, in people's thought, it's the looks that keep people from buying even more of these bikes. Basically, in my opinion, those are the two things: the height and the looks. Otherwise, these bikes probably outsell everything on the road. I really like this bike. It's fast. I mean, it can do. I mean, I've had it up to 120, no problem. And it handles good. It rides good. It's smooth. It's firm when you want it. Of course, with the electronic suspension, you can pretty much set it up to how you're going to ride. It's just a really great bike. I'm really liking it. I bought it mostly for road riding, but I did want the ability to go on a gravel road here and there. But probably my biggest thought of getting one of these over like an Indian Challenger or like another Honda Goldwing was just the fact that you can pack a lot of stuff on it. And I do want to do some longer trips. I do have an RV park about 4 hours away, and sometimes I need to pack some kind of oddball stuff, and I'd like to be able to ride this up there more. So the problem with your Indians and your road glides and the Goldwing especially is you don't have much room to pack stuff past where the luggage boxes are. You can't just stack stuff all over the place. Otherwise, you're going to scratch your paint. There's not a bunch of places to hook. I mean, you can, but if you're worried about your paint and that sort of thing, they're just somewhat limited. These adventure bikes, man, you can set them up to pack a ton of stuff, and they can be oddball things that don't have to fit in a box. So that was one of my biggest things is just what I can do with it, what I can pack on it. And then, of course, you can go off-road. Gravel roads essentially is all I'm thinking about doing. Maybe some two-track desert roads, possibly, but it's more of a road bike. In my opinion, I have dirt bikes for the aggressive stuff, so it's not a bike that I plan on doing aggressive stuff with. So with that in mind, really the height. The only time I have a problem with the height is if I'm backing up to a curb or trying to back it up into my shop. When you're on your tippy toes, you don't have a whole lot of strength to on your toes to back these things up. Let's call it a 600-pound bike. It might be 580. Let's just call it a 600-pound bike. You either have to have a buddy kind of push you into place, or you have to get off and move it that way. And that's what I do. Other than that, I don't have a problem with the height. I mean, like I said, this is a GSA, so it's got the bigger tank on it. It's a standard height suspension setup, so it's it's pretty tall, and it's big. When you're looking at these bikes, I mean, the cylinders stick out. These tanks are big. It's just a big bike. But when you start comparing it to other bikes, it's actually lighter. I mean, your basic road glides and such are 800 pounds or more. If you get a bit full touring Harley Davidson, you're 920 pounds or something. I mean, the average bike that people get for road bike, and when you got looking at Indians and the Goldwings and the Harley Davidsons, you're 800 pounds pretty much minimum. Even some of your more naked style bikes, like your newer Harley Davidson Lowrider S or ST, more of a cruiser type, even they're a good 700, 750 pounds. One of the only bikes that comes to my mind that's lighter than this would be the new Sportster S. That's a real small bike and real fast. It's a fun bike to ride, but definitely not as comfortable. Good grief. It's a town bike, and that's about it. So, as far as weight goes, these are pretty light. And the capabilities you have with this bike, as far as what you can pack on it, its power, its handling, it makes it pretty hard to pass up. Now the height, that's what gets people, and of course the looks too, but the height is a big thing. It is tall, and that can be a problem for some. But anyway, for me it's not. So while we're on the height thing, let me just talk about the seat a little bit. As probably a lot of you know, this seat you can raise up in your higher and lower position. And I don't have the key with me, otherwise I wasn't kind of set up for doing that exactly. But anyway, there's brackets in here, and you can change each one of them separately. So you have a high and low setting here and a high and low setting here. Now currently I have it in the low setting here and the high setting here, and that makes the seat more level, more flat, and it's way more comfortable. If you put both of these in the low setting, the seat kind of dips down here, and you kind of feel like you're on a slant and it's wanting to slide you into the tank. So I don't like that. That's kind of unfortunate. I wish I could have the lower seat height, but with the more flatter seat setup. Other than that, I don't really have a complaint with the seat. I don't really like this gap. In the high setting, it's got this gap, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. But other than that, the seat's okay. It's comfortable. I've had a couple cruisers. I had a Yamaha Raider. I've had a big Kawasaki Vulcan 2000. I had an Africa Twin DCT. I've had a Honda 2023 Honda Goldwing DCT, a Road Glide Ultra, all loaded up. And that had a Mustang seat, and that was probably the other bike that I actually felt fairly comfortable on. The handlebars were just set up right for me. It had a backrest on it. That was a pretty comfortable bike. But other than that, for the most part, I feel this is the next most comfortable bike that I've had. The Goldwing had less wind. You had no wind, essentially. So maybe to some that would be a comfort factor. But the seat actually was not that comfortable. As big as it is, and what the bike is for, this seat to me is more comfortable. And then the handlebars on the Goldwing, for me, being a little bit on the shorter side, and I guess I kind of got shorter arms, I suppose. The handlebars were just too low and too far forward, and there's actually a lot of guys that kind of complain about that. But it's real expensive to change that on the Goldwing. Just not a whole lot of adjustability the way they're set up. So anyway, with a lot of different things, it wasn't all that comfortable. This one, all over, is pretty comfortable. At times, at longer rides, a backrest would be nice for the added comfort. But anyway, I don't know if I'll end up doing that or not. But yeah, for the most part, this is the most comfortable bike I've had. I had the last bike before this was a 2024 Road Glide, the new style Road Glide. And at first I thought it was comfortable, but it didn't take me very long to realize, man, that's not comfortable. So I jumped in and bought a $800 seat, and they revised that seat twice, and it still wasn't comfortable. It just was not a comfortable bike. It was pretty fast. It ran good. It was a beautiful looking bike. That's one thing about Harleys and even some Indians is they just look really good. Great colors. And I do kind of miss that. But yeah, it wasn't all that comfortable either. This is the most comfortable for the most part. the heat, you know, some people complain about these cylinders, and I will mention, I didn't think about the heat on these, and it's not terrible. If you look at the engine temperature, you'll see that this bike actually runs cooler than a lot of the other bikes. I mean, especially the Harley. Even with the Harley with the water cooled heads, or some say it's oil cooled heads. I'm pretty sure it's water cooled heads, but anyway, this bike runs cooler than that almost all the time. Like probably average temperature is about that 195 range. So you do feel some heat. Like if you get on a road glide, or like my buddy's Lowrider ST, I think it's a 23 or 24 or something like that. It's got no wind protection. The tank is small. The cylinders are, you know, up where most of them are in that V-twin, and you get a lot of wind. So when you're moving, some of those bikes, even though they run hotter, they are cooler. Now maybe your seat area and your inner legs might be a little warmer, but I think for the most part you kind of feel like it's cooler on a lot of other bikes when you're riding it. But when you're doing more slow stuff and you're, you know, in town or on some really slow back road stuff, then those bikes are hotter. They feel hotter, even though, you know, this has these cylinders stick out. But anyway, you do feel a little bit more heat because of these cylinders and because this tank is so big and it blocks so much wind. Now, I like the fact of having a big tank. This is almost an 8-gallon tank. If I'm going easy, keep it under, say, I don't know, 65, 70, this thing will pull dang near 50 miles per gallon, 46, you know, 50 miles per gallon. So that's, you can get over 300 miles. I mean, this thing will go a long time, and that allows you to be pretty selective on the stations that you fill up on and when you fill up. And so that's kind of cool. And if you've ever, whatever reason, gotten into a situation, the gas tank was closed, it was out of fuel or something weird, just having an extra fuel to me is nice, and I like that. Now, one thing about the smaller tank is on the standard GS is yeah, you're going to save a little bit of weight on top of that, but you also going to get more airflow, and I think the warmer air you get from the cylinder sticking out is going to be less noticeable on the standard GS because you got more wind flow. So that might be something to look at. I didn't really think about that, and if I could go back, I don't know if I would have changed it, just because, like I said, I like the fuel capacity of this and not having to really worry about fuel. And you know, I don't like getting hit with bugs and bees all the time, and little rocks from the guys behind in front of you, and if you get a little bit colder weather, you know, you stay pretty warm. So there's disadvantages and advantages, but I think I'm kind of leaning towards I would still get the bigger tank for some of those reasons, but that may be something that you guys look at. The other thing about these cylinders, it's probably a negative for some people, but when they stick out like this, man, the bike doesn't tip over very far. If you tip it over, you know, it's going to rest right on those engine guards, and that's a lot less distance that you have to pick that bike up. Now, I kind of did a stupid thing where I was on a hill. I didn't judge the hill like I should have, and the bike rolled off the kickstand because it was in neutral. That's kind of a habit I've always done, is just put the bike in neutral. My dirt bikes are the same way. And on this particular case, that I should have been thinking better. But anyway, it rolled off and it came down. And so, but you know, as small as I am, I was still able to pick this bike up by myself. So, you know, these cylinders do have the advantage there. The other thing is maintenance, like valves. It's way easier to get to your valves and your cams and stuff if you need to. Your oil changes, it's one plug and an oil filter. You know, the oil filter is right in there. I mean, that's really easy to get to. I actually might have to get your skid plate off, possibly to drain the oil, but I actually haven't done one yet. But anyway, it's pretty simple. Like your battery is right in this cover. Everything is pretty easy to get to. Your air filter is right there. You don't have to remove the tank and a bunch of plastic to get to your air filter. It's all pretty simple to work on for the most part and easy to get to. Boy, the Goldwing and the Africa Twin were much more difficult to get to stuff. The air filter is like a 3 or 4 hour job on those bikes. So this is pretty simple to work on. And again, if you got to go to do the heads, do a valve adjustment, this is much easier to do and get to. So that's the other advantage of these cylinder heads, the way they are. Yeah, other than that, I don't know what else really to say about it. I do have the Puig windshield. A lot of reviews say it's tall. I'm not tall, but I still feel that it's good. I don't think it's too tall. It is adjustable, so you can bring it down some. Even as short as I am, I still don't run it in the lowest setting, and I can see over the top fine. So I kind of have it in about the middle. You can look at these support brackets that I put on here. It's about in the middle, a little bit towards the top, but that's just so I can have my visor open on my helmet and don't have to worry about bugs or gravel or anything getting kicked up into my face. So I tend to run them up a little bit higher, but if I wasn't worried about it, I could run that down and see over the windshield just fine. So I don't see there's a problem with that windshield being too tall. Let's see, the other thing, I'm gonna talk about these bags. If you're gonna get a tank bag, get one that mounts to the bracket of the fuel cap. Don't get one with these straps. This is a stupid idea to me. I don't know. My Africa Twin had the bag that mounted onto the tank cap, and that was great. It was easy to come off for fuel. You don't have to fumble with, I got to pull these straps off, which they're fairly quick. This Lone Rider bag, this comes off pretty quick. It's a little more difficult in here because they've got they're wrapped, and then because I have these bar risers, it's a little bit tighter in here. But even still, I've had to put some black tape up in there. I put some black tape right here just to keep from getting scuffed, because I was noticing a little bit of scuffing right there, and then a little bit of discoloration in places around this tank where this bag rests. So when you get the tank mount, cap mounted version, it doesn't touch the tank anywhere. And of course you don't have no straps that will eventually rub. So anyway, this is an awesome bag. I like it, but I don't like the straps. So if you're getting anything like that, I would definitely look for one without the straps. And I wouldn't do the magnets either, because again, that's touching your tank, and over time that's going to put some wear marks in it. So get the one that mounts to the cap. Let's see what else. This has these Lone Rider lights. I don't know much about them, but man, they are bright, and they've got like a halo ring around it. You can program these to do a lot of different stuff. They're really cool lights, and I haven't even spent time playing with it yet, but they are bright. They are awesome lights for the night. Really help you see good. Those are good. The tires, these are a Metzler Karoo 3 or something like that. I don't like them. They seem to grip good on the asphalt, but they're loud. They give like a pickup mud tire kind of vibration and sound, getting kind of a howling, whining sound. I do not like those. Do not like that at all. And then the back, so at 3,600 miles, and this is, there's not a bunch of stuff on this bike. This hasn't been ridden with a bunch of weight, and this tire is already wearing down. These are, I think the new tires are a Karoo 4 or something like that, so they don't even make these anymore. But this is almost wore out, and so I don't like the tires. Since it's more of a road bike, I'm looking at something that's set up for more road, but that will still do good in gravel. If you're on the off-road gravel, dirt, maybe mud more of the time, I guess you might want one of these, and you would settle for the disadvantages of them. But I want something that's smoother and quieter, and so I would not get tires like this, in my opinion. let's see, what else? I guess maybe I should mention this tack form. This is a pretty cool phone mount. It's adjustable. It charges even with my phone having a case on it. It still charges through it. So I really like that, and you know how it wires down in through there. Cool addition. Let's see. Maybe so. These things, these are kind of like a foam pad here. The idea with these is that it cuts some of the vibration down and make the grip a little bit bigger. The vibration isn't bad on this bike at all. I wouldn't say that's a problem, but there is a little bit, and you probably get a little bit with any bike. This is supposed to cut that down, and I think it does a little bit. But my biggest thing with them is they make the hand grips bigger, and you don't notice it unless you're on long trips. But on longer rides, the smaller grip is just uncomfortable. Having your hand crimped up like that is uncomfortable for long trips. Now on my dirt bike or short trips, that's no problem. You don't even think about it. But on long rides, you start to get a little bit of numbing, a little bit of tingling in your hands sometimes, a little bit of discomfort. And actually, being on some other bikes, I've noticed that some of your Harleys and stuff, they have bigger grips already. So anyway, this is just kind of giving me even though I don't have big hands, it just gives me a bigger surface to grab onto, and actually makes it more comfortable. And they're tight. They're not moving. They're, you know, they won't move at all on you. So anyway, that was cool. You may notice I'm missing my mirror. That broke off when it tipped over, so I have to fix that. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm really liking the bike. Like I said, it's fast, it's comfortable, and despite its looks, I got a buddy that rode it, and he was pretty blown away. He's like, "Man, I don't think I can do this. It's just too ugly to me. But man, I can see why you ride them, because they are comfortable, they are fast, they're smooth." He couldn't believe how smooth it was. He was pretty impressed with this, and I think if anybody were to give these bikes a chance, probably the same with the Ducati or the Tiger 1200. They're all going to be they're comfortable and fast and fun to ride. So anyway, I guess that's kind of my opinions and thoughts. I don't know what else more I could share about it. It is doing well for me. If there's any other things I can think of, I might do another video, or if you have questions, go ahead and ask in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you. But yeah, it's set up. I do have the Lone Rider soft bags over there. If somebody wanted, I could do a review. I'm sure there's tons of people who've already done reviews. I just find out most of the time I don't need that much luggage, so I have them off and temporarily just use my backpack. I'd like to get a box on it, but you know, these boxes are $400 to $700, and so until I can find a good deal on a used one, I'll probably just keep running a bag like this on it for a shorter trip. So anyway, hope it's helpful, and have a good day, everyone.